Hey guys, I have Maleficent today. So pretty, just so pretty. I mean, the glitter is just amazing. I like the Tiana perfume bottle because of the green, but I think I like this one because of the green as well. I love the Mother Gothel and how that one turned out in the craft, but I think I like this one. This one has a little different dimension. I had to add a lot more 3D layers to it, so hopefully you'll learn some new techniques, some new ideas that I haven't taught you before. And if you did already know it before, that's okay too, because I just appreciate you being here, and I hope you like my crafts. And comment, like, subscribe, all the things. I sell my crafts on through direct messaging or through Whatnot. So please, I usually have a show on Saturday mornings. I also have a variety of other crafts that I sell on there, cards, and then of course other pin crafts. And then of course I have some pins for sale as well. But please check that out. I hope you check me out. Yeah, I just appreciate you guys being here. Thanks so much. I hope you guys learned something new. And thanks. Thanks so much. Hey guys, so here's our pin. I'm super happy to be able to show you guys how to do this. It's similar to the Ursula one, but it has some other techniques and such. So we'll start off first with our paper because that's most important. So I took a 6x6 of white and I took a 6x6 of this paper here. There's all this different like rock and roll paper. It was from like last year, I think. Yeah, rock and roll. It was called rock and roll. I thought it was called something similar. I didn't realize it was right on the money, but it had like records and all these other cool different designs in there. And I just thought it was kind of fun. I just thought the black and white aspect was a really good contrast. And then we're also going to be, so first we're going to glue that together. And then we're also going to be using basic black. This is 5x5, and this is 4 3/4 by 4 3/4 of gorgeous grape. And then we're going to be coloring that. And well, we also had to throw it in this embossing folder that I got from one of my friends. And I'll go ahead and put on screen the names of some of my friends that may have some of these old embossing folders and papers. I don't sell retired stuff, but they might. And so, not they might, they do. So they often have some of this old stuff. So please check them out. You basically put the paper in the machine. You can buy the embossing folder at fabulousstamper.com. You put the paper in the machine and you run it through and it creates this texture on it. And we're going to go ahead and be we're going to be shading that particular paper. So let's go ahead and glue this down first. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on just the corners. And we're putting it on this white cardstock because this just gives us stiffness to this paper that we need when we're attaching it to our frame. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to set this aside because we need to shade this. So let's go ahead and get a piece of paper. I'm just using some scrap paper. I have mats and stuff, but I tend to like to throw away the shading paper after I'm done. So, and you're going to get a blending brush. I ordered new blending brushes, you guys, so I should have plenty of new blending brushes soon, so that'll be good. So if you're new to me showing you about the blending brushes, what happens, oh, this one has lots of ink already on it still. So what happens is usually when you press right down on a piece of paper with your ink, it leaves this little thumbprint. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start off the project and then move on to the project. That's what I find to be the best. So you don't get those thumbprints. Those thumbprint marks just, they just kind of mess up the design of the paper. And the reason why I'm adding this nice black on it is because I need this purple to be a little less bright, because we're talking about Maleficent. So we need it to be nice and dark, and you want to have that darkness to the project, and I think that that just fits this particular design. I tend to go in a circle. It does get a lot of the crevices that way. It's up to you. If you want a certain direction, you can go a certain direction. It will give a different effect. But because this paper has so many wrinkles, I'm going in a circle because I want to get in the wrinkles, but I want the wrinkles to still be obvious. So it's like finding that balance. I'm sure this is way too much ink, but I'm going to go ahead and just keep making it as dark as I want. And a lot of this part is not going to be shown, but the good news is at least if I've shaded the whole thing, I have some options as to which side I want to be showcased and shown. I kind of like this at the top. I think there's something about this particular like wrinkle, and I don't know, but some of these wrinkles won't show, so I don't know. We'll see what I figure out in a minute. Okay, that's plenty of black, I think, to darken up that purple. So let's look at the other side. So here it is with the plain, here it is with the darkened aspect. You see how that darkened aspect of the coloring just really adds dimension and just a really nice look to it. And so that's just my personal opinion. Go ahead and clean off my fingers. There's quite a bit of ink on my fingers from the blending brushes. You should also plug in your hot glue gun before, like about right now. If you haven't plugged in your hot glue gun, you should. Oh, close call. Almost got it all over the project. Yikes. That would have left a big stain. I would have covered it up, but still. Just kind of deciding where I want, what I want. I think I want this part at the top. This reminds me a lot of flames. And since we're adding a lot of flames to this, I just think that'll be good. This is 4 3/4 by 4 3/4, this piece of gorgeous grape. So. Oops. Okay, let's get that centered. This particular craft is actually from my best friend. She took care of my cats while I was gone, and she loves Maleficent. I know she'll like this craft. She'll totally take it to work, I think, put it on her desk. So, and then we're going to glue this down to our frame piece. Yeah, and so I'm happy that I can. Perfect. All right, done. So we're done with that for now. So now the hard part, well, it's not a hard part. The next part is that we're going to take, just like with our other ones, we're going to go ahead and take and make a frame. I went ahead and cut these out with the Stamp Cut and Emboss machine. This is another piece of scrap paper from that rock and roll paper. And you're going to go ahead and take out a frame, and you're going to need a right side and a left side. Okay, and it comes from this. Now, this is still available at FabulousStamper.com, this frame set. I don't think it's going to be available much longer, but it is available as of this moment. I just think these frames are a really good use of trying to expand and like showcase that pin. I'm going to go ahead and use tear and tape for this. I just find it to be a little bit easier. You want to keep this curl on the side. I think I'm going to have to trim it a little bit more. Because you want to make sure that you can add it behind the frame, but not necessarily, but keep that little extra curl. So as I told you before, technically in other videos, technically this frame is just fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I just think adding this extra layer to the edge really it just makes it a more substantive frame and just adds like a little extra dimension. It widens it, but there's just something about it that makes it really special. And so I add the glue right along the dotted line there. I got to make sure the bottom is lined up. but then I add the edge of the frame right along the dotted line, and then press it down. And let's go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. And I'm using tear and tape because I just find the tear and tape glues really well to the foil. And when foil gets wet glue on it, it just looks gross. It just has a mucky look to it because the foil, it's really hard to get glue off of foil in my opinion. It usually tends to leave a smear of some kind. It just doesn't look right. Foil can be tricky. Now this is brushed foil, which is a little bit better, but it still can be tricky. So let's get the bottom lined up. And then the top should come along just fine. Okay, perfect. All right, done putting that in. Okay, so we've got that together, easy peasy. Now, I'm going to be using some, we make strips of foam. I ordered some so I could show you. This foam is available at fabulousstamper.com. This is a foam sheet. We also sell strips, but I'm just using what I have available, and I'm just cutting it into narrow strips that I can use for the project. This one's a little too long, so we'll cut that off. This one is too. Cut that off. All right. All right. Good, good, good. Done, done, done. All right, and I'm going to add these little pieces to the side here. It just helps make sure the frame stays upright. Let's go ahead and cut a narrow one for the bottom and a narrow one for the top. Again, you know, you can use something, different types of foam. I just think this foam from Stampin' Up is just a really good quality. It's really, really narrow. It's really narrow in height is what I mean when I say narrow. Some craft foams are just really, really tall, and it's practically coming out of the page, which I don't like that look, you know. I don't want it to be, you know, Dollar Tree is an example of craft foam. You know how when you'll get a craft sometimes from Dollar Tree, and they'll have, you know, like a card or something that's put up on foam, or a paper bag, I mean a gift bag that has like a foam piece on it. Well, the foam piece they use is often really tall, and you can see it directly underneath. And there's nothing wrong with that particular foam. It's just not as clean a look is all I'm saying. So that's why I use this particular foam. And again, you can get all of this at fabulousstamper.com. I am a Stampin' Up representative, and so I always tell you guys to use these products whenever I can. All right, so let's go ahead and put that down. And I'll trim this off the top. I kind of put it a little too high, but yeah, we're okay. All right. Oops, you know what? It's gonna show through. Hold on. It's gonna show through. Hold on, let me move it. It's going to show through at the bottom. There we go. There we go. It was going to show through at the bottom. It was peeking just a little bit through. So there we go. Just press that down. That's all you need. So what's going to happen is we're going to be putting this piece down here. We're going to put a couple layers in between. So we can go ahead and cut those, but I think this might be a little too wide. Yeah. Yeah, we have to cut it a little bit. All right. So we'll glue these together. The reason why we're gluing these together is we need this frame to be a little bit taller, just a tiny bit, and this just helps it. Okay, we'll put that down, and we'll put this down. And this just pops this frame up just a little bit. I'm going to put it right there. This will help our pin, but this is also going to help make sure our frame stays up, like a little more elevated up, because when we start adding the flames down here at the bottom, it really does affect it. And so I think I'm actually going to glue that down. I don't think I've done that before, but I'm actually going to glue it down, get it centered and glued, because once you have the flames, it's kind of hard to measure and glue it. So let me get my centering ruler. And let's see, we want it to be about right there, but a little higher. Okay, so I'm just going to glue this little piece right here and then let that dry a little bit as we're working on our flames. Get it a little bit further down. All right, press that down. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's nice and centered, because the flames kind of mess up your eye when you're trying to center it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to be cutting out some flames. I've already got a couple cut out here, like this one is cut out. Or do I want it here? No, I want it here. So first thing is I know I want that one there. So now let's cut out some more. I have a few that I've already done. And this is just glimmer paper. This is like lemon lime twist, I think, glimmer paper. And let's see. I know this is freehand, just patience. I'll trim it a little bit more in a minute. But we'll get this up to a point. All right, we'll get all that trimmed up. Let's see. Oh, I don't like that. Let's see. I don't like that point to be like exactly the same. It's a little too tall, but that way we can use it down at the bottom. Let's see. I don't know. We might be able to make it go up to the top here. I actually don't mind that. And let's make sure this is clean. Okay. I don't mind that. I don't want it to be matchy-matchy with the other side, but I do want there to be a balance. And I have a couple of these that I've already cut. So this one might be good right here. We'll put one on the top here. And so if we have that like that, okay, well, that's good. I think I like that, except I don't want it to totally cover. I like this green one on top, actually. So what if we had it like that? Because I don't know, I like this waviness of this. I could put this one on the top. here, it would need to be trimmed a little. I swear the hardest part about designing something is really just the, oh, I don't like this. The hardest part about designing something is just the last minute, like the little playing with things. And let's get this one. Ah, there we go. I like that. And so we could have that tucked down back there. Have that there. And so we'll go ahead and tuck this piece back there. Let's trim these rounded edges. It just needed, you know, I feel like I needed just a little bit more. There we go. I just felt like I needed a little more. Yeah, there we go. And I have to trim these bottoms. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and glue this piece in the back, just down at the bottom. I'm not gonna add like a ton of glue because I do want this to be covering this left side. Oops. And we'll add some more hot glue and stuff too, but I want this covering this left side here. So then we'll take our board and our pen. Oh, we have it. And we're going to go ahead and put 2 dimensionals on the back of the pen. And these are archival safe. They're not going to damage the pen. And then we're just going to get it centered and put it through. Oops, I'm having trouble. I think that's a little off. So gently move it over. Let me move it over just a tiny bit. There we go. Now we've got it pressed down. Yeah, see, I feel like these need to be just a little taller like I had them originally. They feel like too matchy-matchy. I don't know. Just not feeling it, Mr. Krabs. I'm not feeling it. We're going to put the hidden Mickeys at the top. So I have these little, these gems are the adhesive back sparkle gems. And they're retired. But I'm going to go ahead and put a little hidden Mickey at the top. Perfect. So put that at the top. I feel like it needs like a little something on the side here. These are just not doing it. We got to do a different one. Let's see what we can do. Let's trim one and see. Okay, so if we put this here, think that just adds a different element, and then another black piece over the top. Let's curl this one. And we'll trim this down. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I think having it just a little more to the top here just makes me feel better about it. And then we'll put a dimensional down at the bottom with some hot glue. Okay. Yeah, whoops, let me get straight. There we go. Okay, and then a little black piece, just a small one. Let's see if I can salvage this black one. I think that one would be okay. Or maybe just tucking it back to hide. There's just like this little bit of green back here that looks funny. Or maybe I'll just pop that there. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. I think we're okay there. So now just added a little more dimension, you know, I just needed a little more dimension there. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is, so, you know, we just had to build everything up around it, you know, and if everything is too matchy-matchy, then it looks like it's trying too hard, but definitely having a couple of these flames in front of the frame, I think makes it much better design. All right, so we're done with that. We're done with that. So now let's get our frame. So these are just from Amazon. And we're going to be putting in, this is 6x6 frame. We're not going to be using the little plexiglass. We can let that go. I have all these plexiglass pieces, but we are going to need a piece of cardboard. So I'm just going to cut a piece of cardboard. It's not going to be a full 6x6, but I need it to fit. So if you have it too small, it makes the paper bulge out quite a bit. Okay, so we got to trim that. Makes all the paper from the frame bulge out, and so we don't want that. So we need this to be just a little bit smaller. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it's essentially building like a base. It's kind of like building its own shadow box, essentially. So let's go ahead and put this in here. There we go. And then we put our little piece of, oh, I think I put this first, and then, oh, it's a little too big. There we go. All right, and so now it's got a nice cushion, but it's remaining flat in the front. And that's really the key to trying to get this to, but you need a good amount on the right and left side in order to be able to put your frame back together. And so there we go, that's our frame. Cool, right? I think it turned out really cool. So I think this was just such a really neat one. I love the Mother Gothel one still, but I have to say this is probably pretty cool. Ursula was pretty neat too though. So we're just trimming up, getting those little hot glue gun pieces off. You know, just getting all that, like pulling those threads off, the hot glue gun threads. Need some little tweezers to pull some of them off, I think. Yeah. And so just cleaning it up, but it looks good, right? Cool, right? You got your little hidden Mickey at the top. I don't know if you guys can totally see it, but it's a cute little hidden Mickey. I didn't want it to be too, I was going to make it green, but I thought, nah, black is better. And so that is our piece. That is our piece for today. My bestie's gonna love it. I know she's gonna love it. So thanks for tuning in, you guys. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, all the things. Thanks so much for just being here, you guys. I appreciate you. So I hope you have an excellent day, and thanks for just tuning into my channel.